Hey, there we are. Trying to see the screen behind me so I can get this up on the home screen. Still not coming up. YouTube is so slow. Maybe it's the heat. Let me just set this up really quick. If you're watching on the replay, just fast forward through the first couple of minutes just because I have to set it up. Hey, Kathy. Hey, thank you so much, honey, for watching all those older videos. Yeah, I really appreciate that. That really helps with my my views. That helps a lot. Hey, Rita. Just type this into the screen. Yeah, I got the AC guy here again. I didn't call them, but the management said he's in the neighborhood, so I might have to get up if they knock on the door again. I was stuck all day waiting for the sofa delivery, and that just happened. And I was just getting ready to finally, literally walk outside for the first time today. And she texted me, the manager, saying, hey, they're in the neighborhood, so they're going to come check on your system again. Hey, Kelsers. Hey, Sarah Michael. Deanna. Hello. Viv Noon. Are you new here, Viv? Let me know. Or have you just been lurking in the background? You know what? I really like it. A couple reasons. It's shorter. It's a little shorter. I never even measured because I ordered this off the internet. So I didn't really know if it was going to fit. It's a little shorter, and I'm glad because there was a electrical plug, an outlet that was behind the other sofa that I could never reach without moving a very heavy sofa. And this one's it's a lot lighter, so I don't know how long it's going to hold up. It's very, very light. It's not blocking my plug. And the bottom part is a little higher off the ground. So that's going to be great for the bunny because last night she was kind of freaked out that there was no sofa. So she wouldn't come out to her little rug. She always sits on the rug under the coffee table in front of the sofa. She wouldn't do that last night because she just felt too exposed because bunnies, you know, they're prey animals, you know. They're victims of, like, you know, birds and things coming down. So she's always worried, like, is a bird going to come and get me? So she likes that sofa as a safety net, and she didn't have that last night. So hopefully she knows it's here. She came out of her hide when the delivery guys left, but she has not, like, come out on her little rug and inspected the sofa yet. But the cat, she's been all over it. Like, she seems to like it. And my Thai friend, I sent her the pictures, and I'm like, what do you think? And she's like, oh, I love it. It's my color. And I'm like, yeah, it's your color, not my color. But I decided to go for something different. It was cheaper. They had limited colors. It won't match my elephant picture, but I like it. Now we'll see how comfortable it'll be. Jackie is in the news today. Yeah, I've been reading all the stories. Viv News has just wanted to say thank you for keeping us updated on Mama Jackie, our Queen Eagle. I know. You must be a local, Viv. Hey, Pauline. Linda Brady, welcome back. Good evening, everyone. Your rug is very different. Let's see. Roxanne Ruck. Are you related to Alan Ruck, the actor? I used to work with him years ago. Cool dude. Viv is in Massachusetts. Yeah, usually when they say our Queen Jackie, it's like the locals. But, you know, she's famous all over the world now. So I may have to, like, answer the door if the assistant to the AC guy comes to knock again. 47 people in the room and only 5 thumbs up. I know it's early. We're only 4 minutes into this, but can you give me a thumbs up? And then we'll just start in on today's story. And I'm sure as soon as I start reading it, there's going to be a tap tap at the door. But I'll have, like, Kelsers run the chat if that happens. It'll only take a minute or two. Okay, so just so you know, there's a couple things here before we get into this. Last night, once again, before midnight, I hit 6K. I don't know if I should have a 6K party. I announced it on the community post tab, But yes, in like 5 days, like a 5 day period, I went from like 3,600 subscribers to 4,000 to 5,000 in about another 26, 27 hours to 6,000. So in under a week, my channel has almost doubled. I can't even believe it. Let's see. How would you know about the rug is different? I got a new one. How do you know that? That is so weird. Okay. For those that are coming in for Nancy Guthrie, let me introduce myself. I'm April Davis, PI. I am a licensed California private investigator, and I have been reporting on this sad Nancy Guthrie case since February the 2nd. And I know they're referring to it now as a kidnapping, which it kind of is since she was removed from the house without her consent. But I was very hesitant to use that word. I'm still hesitant to use that word, kidnapping, because I'm still not 100% sure that's what this actually was. Wow, 64 people in the room, 11 thumbs up. Come on, let's get it up. Let's hit those red hearts on the screen. Let's get the thumbs up on the video. Okay, TMZ, Harvey Levin. You know Harvey. He made a statement about Savannah Guthrie's, the statement that she made, when she came out on the Instagram, and, we played it yesterday. It was released Monday morning, actually. We played it like 2 or 3 times or twice yesterday on my live yesterday. If you haven't seen it, go see it. But he then came out and made a video and said that there's so many questions because she seemed to be talking to someone directly. And now there's all these rumors that did she pay the ransom? And he focused on Savannah's words that we've done our part. I think that's what got all this conversation going when she said to the kidnapper, or kidnappers, plural, we've done our part. And he did confirm via the Bitcoin address that the ransom has not yet been paid, which I didn't think it would be, considering she's probably gone. You know what? I'm not seeing all the messages on my screen here, so let me set my chat filter. Yeah, I forgot to do that. I saw the congratulations, Kelsers, and behind me, or behind the camera, but in front of me, and it wasn't coming up on my screen. He also said that her statement coincides with the upcoming 6-month anniversary of this case, and that the FBI considers those little moments like important, especially for someone to come out and make a statement like that, because it kind of like reminds the public that this case is still going. And that the statement when she said we've done our part, that was really a reference to that the $1 million reward that the family has put up, that's what she means. Without so many words, she didn't say that, but she wasn't saying like we've done our part, like, hey, we've paid the ransom. She was saying we've done our part. The $1 million reward is still on the table. Although she didn't use those words. That's how he construed it. And remember, they had the first 2 ransom letters from the same IP address that the FBI still thinks that they're probably legit. And the second one on, the 6th of February said that she had, died. We're sorry, not sorry. Hello, Nick from Canada. Carla, hello from Indiana. So yeah, he said that her statement does coincide with the upcoming 6-month anniversary of the case, and that the FBI, at least his source, if we were to believe Harvey Levin's source, which I kind of do at this point, he says that his source says that no progress has been made in the case. I wish I didn't believe that. And that they don't know where Nancy is, and they don't know who the kidnappers are. Now, right after I heard that, it was reported across multiple outlets, including People and News Nation, that Sheriff Nanos has put out a report. I haven't seen it or read about it yet. I couldn't find the link in their bio. They always say, here's the story, but go to the link in our bio, and then go to this page, and then go to that page. So I could never make it to the right page. And there's a lot going on right now here at the apartment. So, but it's been reported that Sheriff Nanos stated that he is positive The case will be resolved soon. Now remember, Pima County Sheriff, they are still the leading agency. He is positive the case will be resolved soon. But Harvey Levin is saying that his confidential FBI source says no progress has been made in the case. They do not know where Nancy is, and they don't know who the kidnappers are. And when they say they don't know where she is, it is like the belief that she's gone, obviously. Like not gone, not home, but gone as in DEAD. And that they're basically, when they say they don't know where she is, that they're referring to remains. I hate to use that word on a YouTube live, but yeah, basically that the family, you know, they still want, and I understand that. I totally get that. Like, you know, oh my gosh, when I've had close people to me die, it's like, oh my God, we just, you know, we have to like get the remains. Like that's like, your heart's just like boom, 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 boom. Even with my animals, like, oh my God, you know, like, so even though I think the family is probably accepted that she's gone, they still want closure. They still want to have a celebration of life. You know, Savannah talked about that from the beginning of this case. Jonathan says, poor thing, is I alive? What do you mean, I alive? You? Me? Nancy? Maggie says, hello, April. I hope the couch is fabulous. Well, we're going to see tonight. But it is a lighter color. It's called Buttercup. So it's a shade of yellow, and yellow's not really my color, but it's not really yellow. It's more of a fine gold color. So I usually sit there with the coffee table in front of me to eat, but I'm gonna have to be really careful about that because I don't want to spill anything on it. And I want to make sure that the cat is not going to scratch it. Now last night, since she didn't have a sofa to scratch, she scratched the new scratcher once, and then she scratched it again today, once after the delivery. And I'm just like, oh my God, have I solved the problem? Roxanne Ruck said, if I were family, I would be so unable to function due to not having any answers. Exactly. There's got to be closure. You know, when I had a friend that passed and it was sudden and it was unexpected and she'd not even been ill, you know, her sister and I, we had to wait like 6 months and okay. We got a problem in here. Time out. Come visit me again tomorrow. Let's see. What did I miss? See, that just totally throws the train right off the track. He was quoted as saying there's a lot of DNA to go through. Okay. I need to find the interview because on People it says click the bio in the link. It's kind of like going to Perez Hilton and there's like a teaser, but then you got to click the bio and then you got to figure out, okay, now which site do I go to? Because he's got like 6 of them or something, you know, and then you got to go through all the stories and I'm like, okay, I don't have time right now. Like, I've been stuck in here all day. I can't even get to my mailbox to drop off packages and pick up mail. So I'm like, okay, maybe somebody in here will know. But the story is that he thinks it'll be resolved soon. But he's been saying that since day one. Jonathan saying, I'm alive, typo. Okay. Poor thing is, I'm alive. Well, I'm glad you're alive. Let's see. I heard law enforcement might have let some info leak, but it's just speculation. Oh, I'd love to know what that is, Kelsers. Do you know what is the leak? What is the leak? Let's see. Where in Canada are you, Nick? Are you Nick from Ontario? Let me know. Got a lot of Canadians that come in, which is cool. You know, I have a lot of personal connections to Canada, both family and friends. So Canadians, you're always welcome here. Well, everybody's welcome here as long as you behave. I get people that come in from all over the world now, but mostly US, Canada, and UK. Vima says, I just saw clips on X and Facebook. I thought we only had a piece of rootless hair for DNA. That's what I thought too. Strange for him to say there's so much to go through. That is strange. Suzanne, thank you for the sparkles. Savannah said we did our part. What does that mean? Very good question, Patricia, because that's why Harvey Levin, did his little, speech today on a video, because a lot of people were asking, does that mean they suddenly paid the ransom for remains? And that's not what it means, because he has the Bitcoin address in that wallet. Other than the few $100. First they said 300, then they said 150 something. They put some seed money in, but that was never touched. Let me get back to it. Savannah said we did our part. That's a good question, but he construed it as meaning that the reward is still on the table, because it has nothing to do with the ransom being paid. That's what he's saying, Patricia. Is that something to do with the $1 million reward? But this is just speculation. Careless Whispers, welcome in, Careless. This is going to sound mean, but at some point you just got to let her go. She was older, so you weren't going to find her alive this long anyways. Unfortunately, she was doomed from the start. I think she was doomed from the start, but I still think they need to find her remains, and they need to obviously find out who did this and why. And, whoever's responsible, I think it's more than one. I think there's the chefs and the waiters that, they all need to rot in prison. I mean, I would even put the death penalty on the table if I were, a DA in Arizona, but we will see. But I don't think it sounds mean. I understand what you're saying. And she was in declining health, but still, what a horrible way to have your life in. After all that she had accomplished so much in her life, and to be dragged out of your bed in the safety, well, you thought you were safe in your own home, be dragged out of your bed in the middle of the night by, a masked intruder. That must have been terrifying. But we still don't know, how many people were there, and who did the carrying, and who did what to who, because somebody opened up that front door for a front porch guy. I agree with that. I would want my loved ones' remains found, but there's tons of people out here who never have answers. And that's the closure, sadly. I know. It's hard. Roxanne, is it true that Nancy had been doing some kind of paperwork, checking on something in Mexico regarding property? Do you think that she was being scammed, or someone was trying to scam her? I don't know. I've heard that, but that could just be an internet rumor. There is 3 former FBI agents who I watched that suspect info was leaked from Pima County law enforcement. Okay, what is the info? Do we know what it is? Dean, good evening. Welcome in, Dean. Thank you, Careless. Make sure y'all hit that like button. How's the puppers, Careless? Little Violet, she's so cute. Let's see. Am I caught up now? I know at any moment the guy's going to be knock, knock, knock on the door. I don't know for certain, but some former FBI agents are suspecting that. I would love to know if there's some kind of a leak. Couldn't hurt at this point, because, we got nothing. According to Harvey Levin's FBI source, they have made no progress has been made. It says, FBI source says, no progress has been made in this case. They don't know where Nancy is, and they don't know who the kidnappers are. And if that's true, other than this rootless hair sample, and God only knows what's going to happen with that, then they got nothing. HL is a putz, just saying. Oh, that's so funny, Emerald Eyes. Yeah, that's just his source. Just like, Ashley Banfield has a federal law enforcement source who said from day one that Tomato was the only suspect. Mr. Handsome. Uh-oh. I gotta take you out. I know I've seen you before, Mr. Handsome. I gotta take you out. Still waiting for the rabbit to go check out the new sofa. I heard some movement back there. Do you think it could be someone who knew the family? Maybe. Absolutely, could be. It's one of two things. The Savannah factor, when it was reported Sunday night, February 1st, that the 84-year-old mom of Savannah Guthrie was missing. That's all it said, she was missing. There was nothing about a crime or a kidnapping. She was missing. Me, as a Hollywood PI, I went, oh my God, the 84-year-old mother of Savannah Guthrie has been kidnapped. And even Cameron Guthrie, when talking to Savannah on the phone, was like, I think she's been kidnapped. That's before a kidnapping was even on the table. At that point, she was just missing. And then Savannah said to Cameron, well, do you think it has something to do with me? And he's like, I think so, sweetie. And then she just like bawled, because she thought like, oh my God, they got her because of me. That's the first thing I thought of before I knew anything, before we didn't even see Front Porch Guy until like 8 days later. We didn't know about the blood at the front door. We didn't know that there was evidence that she was drugged from her bed. We didn't know like what was still in the house that had not been taken. Hey, Mostly Dolls Helicopter, you're Pip. Welcome, my pips, my PI posse. I wasn't following, but saw something that it was also very similar to someone else that was famous mother going missing. Oh, who is that? Careless? Emerald, the cases that you've worked in the past with stalkers of celebrities, do they usually make it themselves know so the person knows it was them? Not always. It can go either way. I would love to know what current threats Savannah has. Now, to answer the former person's question here about what do I think, it's either number one, the Savannah factor, because she's rich and famous, and that means she and every one of her family members has a giant bullseye on their back. That's why I kind of question the lack of security that Nancy had, considering she herself was making appearances on the Today Show, which that puts her at even more risk because people could see like, oh, she lives in Tucson and this is her name and this is what she looks like. And, it's not, in 2 seconds, you can type in her address on Google or just type in her name and her home address pops up. And there's no fence, there's no gate, there's very little security. Now, in 72 to 90% of cases, it's somebody that you know. Doesn't mean family, could mean immediate family. Those are always your number one suspects. Doesn't mean that they're guilty. Then there's people close to her, caregivers, maintenance people, repairmen, landscapers, pool men, neighbors, people in her church group, someone or an associate of someone who at one time rented the casita. Remember, she rented this casita for $1,500 a month, although it had not been rented lately, supposedly. It's one or the other, or it's a combination of the two, because it could be the latter, where they weren't actually after Savannah, but they were just after her mother, because they knew like, oh, well, she is the mother of Savannah Guthrie, and Savannah's got millions of dollars because she's on the Today Show, and she can pay a steep ransom. It's going to be one or the other. But whoever did this is not some random stranger, because they knew too much about the property. They knew about the house. They knew where the cameras were. They had to know the inside and the outside of that house to do what they did in that neighborhood at that time of the night. There's just no other way about it. Now, the FBI agent I consulted with goes, well, it could be the lone wolf, which he kind of thought it was, but he hadn't followed the case for more than a month. He didn't even know who the family was. And he was like, sometimes people get lucky. Like, I think the waiters, I think, especially Front Porch Guy, I think he's an idiot. But maybe him as part of a bigger group got lucky. or you just, like the John Benet Ramsey case, you had the wrong law enforcement agency involved. But what are you going to do? That sits in Pima County Sheriff's territory. But apparently, Sheriff Nanos is either a moron, or he's going senile, or he could even be involved. I mean, I'm not saying that he is, but, you know, why do you intentionally unsecure a crime scene and let half the world trample it, even before the FBI is called in? I mean, there's so many problems with this case. But this is not just some random robbery, burglary, home invasion. Some people suggested, well, there was a gym show in town, and maybe they were really after the gym guy that lives next door, and they went to the wrong house. No, they didn't. This was planned months in advance. So to answer your question, Emerald Eyes, or who was it that asked me that? I don't know. The chat's going so fast. But yeah, it's one or the other. And you can never convince me otherwise, that it's just some random thing where somebody got lucky. No. I have to agree with Cameron, says Kay in New Jersey. Very sad situation. Absolutely. And I said that while I was laying in bed Sunday night when I saw that she was missing. You know, where the cops at that time, they were going with the theory that it was a missing senior alert kind of situation, like somebody who just walked out of her house. No, she didn't. Somebody carried her out. Somebody punched her in the face at the front door, and she went down, and they slung her over their shoulder, and they put her in a car, and they drove her away. She put up a fight at the door. She was fighting for her life. Kelsa says they would not specify what the information was. All they said, there was a possible watcher who spoke to law enforcement, and law enforcement let the info leak that was told to them from this watcher. Once again, all speculation. Oh, I'd sure love to know what the information was. Dean, I'm believing that AG may be in danger per the way the card is written. You mean the card? You mean the ransom note, or the card that Annie left at the memorial? I sincerely believe that a judge or another authority has deep knowledge about a missing court filing from March 2025. Okay, I don't know anything about that. Careless, yes. I think so. They knew she had money. You know, I had an attorney client for years that was a wonderful man. I still know him. He's like a friend of mine. He's just the greatest guy. And he said, April, the world revolves around two things, S and money. And that's it. End of story. The fact that the person or people got in there, got her, and got her out without a trace means to me they knew what they were doing. You know, the reason I thought that the front porch guy was amateurish was the way that they didn't realize that even though they supposedly might have, it's only alleged that they might have cut the internet off with a cell jammer or signal jammer, that they didn't realize that the Nest Cam, which they would have known about because he had been there before on approximately January the 11th, that they didn't realize that it would then kick over to battery power and it was still operating. And that maybe when he walked up to the porch, he saw like the little red light comes on. Like sometimes when I walk by my Ring doorbell at night, it like, you can see it activating. And I think he thought like, oops. And then he went and did this little thing. And then, you know, oh, let me get some shrubs and rub it. Like, what the hell is that? That's why I was like, that guy's an amateur. No, they didn't go to the wrong house. Absolutely, Sarah Michael. But I don't think this is not some professional drug cartel. Because if it was something like that, they would have kept her alive. They would have taken her meds. You know, they would have done everything to make sure that she's going to be okay. And they would have completed a business transaction. And within 48 to 72 hours, the whole thing would have been done. This is something completely different. There's no lone wolf. I agree, Emerald Eyes. This was 3 to 5 people. Those are my exact numbers, Emerald. 3 to 5 people. Could be 2, but I've always leaned towards 3 to 5. And someone very close. Somebody very close is involved, or they wouldn't have known the security systems, the cameras or the lack thereof. Excuse me while I take a swig of Gatorade Zero right out of the bottle. Not to be a broken record, but Occam's razor and the 6 degrees of separation. Let's not make it too complicated. Exactly. I've got videos about the 6 degrees of separation. Go see my suspect video. Careless Whisper says, I agree, Sarah, not a chance. Not a chance. Not in this neighborhood. Remember, we had a new friend that came in. I don't know what's happened to her. Sandra, if you're out there, please contact me so I know you're still alive. Oh my God, she lives like 2 blocks from Nancy. She knows Savannah. Her husband, her first husband, used to work with Savannah when Savannah was just starting out in broadcasting in Tucson. They were all friends. Like, she knows that house. She knows the neighborhood. I don't know if she's ever been in the house. I don't know if she still has a relationship with Savannah because she's now married to someone else. But this was before Savannah even went to law school. You know, they go that far back. She knows about stuff when Savannah was in high school and what hot dog stand she would hang out at across the street from the high school. And apparently she was a goth chick, like her sister. Like, and she would smoke, you know, all gothed out. Like, I can't even picture that. Like with sweet little Savannah, you know. Like she said, the neighborhood's a maze. Even DeJuice, who I've become friends with now, DeJuice is like, even when his girlfriend comes in, when he, you know, when the boots on the ground were allowed to be there, he said, even with GPS, it's hard to get in and out of the neighborhood because it's like a maze. And it's so dark at night, you cannot see 3 feet in front of you. Now, this did happen on a full moon. Now, was that intentionally done because it would be a little lighter and easier to get around? Was that something that wasn't taken into consideration? Then if you believe all these Wiccan stories and stuff I don't even want to talk about, they're like, well, that was the biggest Wiccan holiday of the year, and look what happened. You know, like, you got to kind of put that on the table too. Like, I don't want to, but there's no way this is just some random guy or, you know, some drug cartel that's like, hey, let's go get her and make some money. Like, heck no. Could I recap the new TMZ info, please? Yeah, Marcy. It's pretty simple. Harvey Levin discussed today the statement that Savannah Guthrie made yesterday. If you haven't seen my video from yesterday, go watch it. I talk about that a couple times where I play it. He focused on Savannah's words when she said, we've done our part. And she was very serious and sincere when she said, we've done our part. Now everybody wants to know, what does that mean? And some people construed it as, oh, did she recently just pay the ransom now for the remains? And he confirmed that the Bitcoin address, that the ransom, or the Bitcoin address that was provided in the first ransom note, that nothing has been paid other than the seed money that the FBI threw in there. There's no payment in that account. And that he construed it as meaning that the $1 million reward is still on the table when she said, we've done our part. And that her statement coincides with the upcoming 6-month anniversary of the case, which is kind of a good thing because the FBI likes little things like that. I thought they would be the opposite. Like, yeah, don't make a statement, but he claims that, you know, he thinks they like that because it will remind people 6 months later, like, hey, this case is still unsolved and, you know, we still need someone to come forward. Then he reiterated that the FBI believes the first 2 notes are likely real and that Nancy likely died the first week. But, and this is the kicker, that his FBI source says no progress has been made in this case. They don't know where Nancy is, and they don't know who the kidnappers are. So that's it. Kelsers, I wish they would have specified also. They all have friends working on this case, so they didn't want to specify, but that does kind of make sense. There definitely had to be more than one person. Absolutely. Wondered, did she have a life insurance policy with benefits? Those are all very good questions, Sarah. I hope the FBI has their, you know, their forensic accountants working on all of the financial aspects of the case. Remember, I am the only YouTuber, and I reported this for the first week of the case, and nobody picked up on it. Even people that are watching my videos. I guess I wasn't, you know, I'm still not big enough for the larger YouTubers to care, but nobody picked up on my story about the second mortgage that I found. And that was not even doing a title search. I haven't done a title search. I just typed it into Google, typed in that address, and her second mortgage came up. And I was like, huh? Like, what's that about? Let me just scroll down really quick. Connie sent out a membership, and Debbie K, congratulations, you received it. Thank you so much, Connie. Let's see. Careless says, I don't think it's a professional cartel. I agree with you. They don't leave people alive. A hit is a hit. Well, when we're talking about a professional cartel, like, is it a professional cartel, like a Mexican drug cartel kidnapping for money? Not that it was like a cartel hit, like, you know, the mob taking somebody out, but that they do kidnap people for ransom. And you don't stay in a house for 41 minutes. And you don't send the ransoms to TMZ and KVOA or whoever the news stations there in Tucson that got the ransoms. It just doesn't work that way. Hello, Connie, with the custom ADI emojis. Welcome in, my pip. All I have on is the lipstick, the CoverGirl gloss, and I haven't washed my face since last night. And this lighting makes me look a little red, so it's just me. It's not makeup. I haven't worn a lot of makeup since cancer. Connie, what did you send? Oh, the clapping seal. Thank you. And thank you, Connie, once again. You're so generous with handing out the gift memberships. Do you remember the date of the second mortgage? It was 2017, Dean. And in some of my earlier videos, we talked about it. But I couldn't even tell you which one. You'd have to go to the Nancy Guthrie playlist, the True Crime playlist, one of those, and just start watching it from February 2nd all the way up. Might take you till next Christmas to find it all or to hear it all. Possibly someone Savannah worked with. Everything's on the table, Sarah. SR71 Girl, good evening, my friend. Kathy Doherty, hello, Kathy. Mostly Dallas Helicopters, in with the star. Thank you. I'm up to $1.27 in Jules today. Didn't remember the date. Yeah, it was 2017. And it was a 35-year mortgage. I even had the payment amount. I think it was somewhere around $138 or something. But that could have been, there could be logical explanations for that. But she would have been in her mid-70s. You know, like, why is somebody of that age taking out a $35,000 mortgage or 35-year mortgage? And it was like, I think it was 70 grand or something. I've talked about it, and I don't even have the paperwork anymore on it. But I was just like, if I were an investigator, I'd be asking about that. I'd be asking about who's on her bank accounts and who's on her, she has a revocable trust. Well, what are the terms of that trust? Has she made any changes recently in her estate? Does she have any financial problems? Does somebody else in the family have problems? You have to look at the immediate things. And then once those things are excluded, you spread your net. The problem with this case is that they couldn't exclude the people closest to her immediately because they had the car for 41 days. And they went to the house 4 or 5 times. They even did what is suspected to be luminol testing in the wee hours of the night. Like they spent an awful lot of time checking out people that aren't supposedly suspects anymore. I did get the couch. And so far, nobody scratched it, but I got it late in the day. And then I was going to go out and run my errands, but then they said, hey, your AC guy's coming again. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been stuck here all day. I haven't even walked outside yet to the garbage or my car. I still got packages that need to go out. But then I hit 6K in the middle of the night. And I'm like, well, is this going to be my party? No, I think I'll just talk about Nancy. We can have the party later. Even if I just come back on the air for 15 minutes and go, hey, it's my 6K. Yes, we have no way of knowing if that's true, Roxanne. I read that her other daughter and husband asked her for a loan, and she said no. Is that true? The reason we're hearing that is supposedly, one of the ladies in the church group revealed that, leaked that to somebody, but we don't know if that's true. But you do have to look at their expenses and their new house that was purchased less than a year before this crime went down. And if you believe people that live in Tucson, which I kind of have a tendency to believe because they are more familiar with Tucson than I am, that Tomato wasn't even on the roster at his private school where he teaches for the whole school year. Like, not just after this happened, but before. Was he not working? What's going on with that? How are they affording that house on a teacher's salary if she's a friggin' poet writing about burning embers? Like, is that a living? Kelsa says, feel like Savannah was speaking to someone she knows, especially when she said, you can always come home. Yes! It is kind of weird. You can always come home. But remember, Savannah from the very beginning, if you even slightly inferred that it could be somebody close to her, like maybe somebody within the family, that she would freak out. And I was like, you know what? I don't know who's involved. I don't know if they are involved or they're not involved, but I hope, Savannah, you're not living in a goddamn dream world. Excuse my language. I get so emotional about this because, you know, if the crime's not bad enough, the fallout is going to make it worse if it is somebody very closely connected. Are you seeing my chat, and did you receive and watch my email? Dawn, I have no time to watch any other videos right now. I've been on the air like 2 to 3 times a day for the last week and handling the broken air conditioner, the sofa. I get like 20, 30, sometimes 50 emails a day like, hey, watch this, watch this, watch this. So I haven't even got to it yet. I had someone that came in the other day. They wanted all my referrals for my whatnot. And I stopped everything I was doing. They're like, I need your referrals. I need your referrals. And then nobody ever did anything with it. It's like, oh, like I might have just shot myself in the foot by putting that email out. I mean, I appreciate, especially you guys that have become friends, but there's only 24 hours in a day. And I'm not even getting, sleep at night. Let's see. So I will get to it when I get to it. Wow, that's scary. I think also, what's scary? What did I miss? Yeah, he's a musician. And he's connected to, if you haven't seen it, Roxanne, go see the video. It's on the video tab. It's a little old. There's been some changes since then that I pinned in the comments, but go see the original suspect video. Remember, everybody in Tucson is connected through the 6 degrees of separation. Yes, SR71 Connie is a very generous member. It's okay whenever you can. I'm doing my best on. And if I sound like irritated, it's just getting very hot in here right now again. Even though the AC guys are apparently up on the roof going, oh, I can't find anything wrong. Even when the city came into my place years ago to rip out all of our thermostats that were working perfectly, to put in their thermostats so that the city can monitor us and they can randomly turn our ACs off whenever they feel like it. That guy even said, you don't have an AC issue, you've got an airflow issue. There's something wrong. Not sleeping either. Yep, welcome to the club, Kathy. Okay, Kelsers. I think Savannah might be opening her mind to the fact that someone close to her might be involved. She's not a stupid person. No, Savannah is a highly intelligent woman. Tough pill to swallow, but it's definitely a possibility. I know, because I've been through a lot of catastrophes and tragedies the last few years. And when they happen, you you don't want to go down that path, you know, like, oh no, you know, you just can't handle it. But remember, and I've talked about this, there's someone in my immediate family, in their family, I can't say who it is, it happened decades before I was born, who was kidnapped. My entire childhood, my parents, especially my mother, always put on me like, oh my God, don't do this, don't do that, don't, you know, you'll be kidnapped. Like I always was like, oh, you know, like one time we went to Disney and I fell out of bed in the middle of the night. I don't know if I hit my head, I don't know. But it's the first time in my life I slept in a queen size bed. I had the whole thing to myself. I woke up the next morning on the floor, wrapped in covers like somebody had tied me up. And I couldn't move for about 20 minutes because I knew I wasn't in my room, in my house. This doesn't smell like my carpet. And why am I tied up? And I was like, oh my God, I've been kidnapped. Because that was put on me. And then it took about 20 minutes for me to finally like kind of unwrap myself and look around and then realize, oh, I'm in the hotel room with my parents in Orlando. Like, oh, I thought I was kidnapped. Because that was always put on me because it happened generations behind me that somebody was kidnapped for ransom. And then you add that with 42 years PI experience. That's why I feel like, even though I'm not a kidnapping expert, I know more than the average person just because of my career. And especially dealing with like crimes that happen to famous people or famous people's relatives. July, hello. Scary that you said he wasn't on the roster for teaching. Well, I didn't say that, but other people have said that since this crime, like he wasn't on the roster anymore. But I don't live in Tucson. And when the media tried to confirm it, he's not listed on the website as being a faculty member of the school, even though he's supposed to be a 6th grade teacher there. But that's what they were saying. People from Tucson were coming in saying he hadn't been there all year. And yeah, the musician thing is kind of important because you got to go down the Derek Colella Mojito rabbit hole. The cover up is always worse. Yes. Yes, it's under the video tab. And I don't have, and it's also, it's in the Nancy Guthrie playlist. So remember, everybody here is innocent until proven guilty. Now, I have my ideas. You guys know that I have my ideas on who Front Porch Guy is. I may be right, I may be wrong. I'm not investigating the case. But if I don't have Front Porch Guy right, I still think the guy that I have named multiple times to the FBI, that person is still involved. And there's a reason, but I can't go into it here. Somebody last night, actually, I think it was Emerald Eyes, she's one of my regular watchers, said, are we allowed to discuss who we think it is? Sure, go ahead. That's why we're here. We're here to discuss the case. You guys can say anything you want. But as a YouTuber, and this is my channel, and I'm the only one that's speaking right now, you guys are typing in the chat, but it's my words coming out of my mouth on my channel. From a legal standpoint, I can't say this person, or this person. I can't do that. I would get myself sued. Remember, everybody here is innocent until proven guilty. But if you guys want to throw out what you think, go for it. I mean, that's why we're here. Uncle Alert. Who said that? Suzanne. Thank you. Glad to see some of the Susans and Suzannes in here. Thank you so much. Yeah, I got to pay for the sofa now. But you know what? It was a safety issue with the sofa. I should have got rid of it, 2 years ago when I sat on it and the spring went pow. Because it was a danger, not just for my butt, but it was a danger for the rabbit. And I had to hire someone to, try to trim the spring that exploded. And if one spring went, maybe another spring was getting ready to go. And, you know, she likes to sit under there. That would have killed her, you know. So from a safety standpoint, I just had to do it. But, you know, my bed needs to be replaced more than that. Broken sofa needs to be replaced. It's on the to-do list. If I still had my 6-figure PI business and I wasn't struck by cancer, and even though I wasn't diagnosed at 2019, but I started feeling bad as early as 2016, that's been the last 10 years of my life. If none of that had happened, I'd just go out and buy the damn bed and the new tie bed and even the new kitchen garbage can. Like, because the lid is broken and the cat is scared of it and she freaks out. And, you know, for her mental health, that's the next thing on my list. Kelsers, I think Front Porch Guy is a member of the band, and this specific member went to college in a specific city in Texas, which is about 12 hours from Tucson. Interesting. And he lived there in Texas for a few years. Okay. Remember, the chef and the waiters. Even if they catch just one person, and that person says, okay, yeah, I did it. I give up. Nobody else is involved. I'm not going to believe it. It would be like Patsy Ramsey rising from the grave and walking through this door right now and coming on camera and telling everybody that she was responsible for her daughter's death. And I would say, liar, liar, pants on fire. Who are you covering for? You know? And I don't think she's covered for anybody because they really don't know who did it. And it's very much like the Elizabeth Smart situation in that case. Somebody that the mother brought into the home. And then there was the chefs and the waiters. Things can go wrong. See the movie Fargo? Things go wrong. And if Navasso knows something Annie knows also, absolutely. There's no way that he's going to go down for this and she's going to be like, oh, I didn't even know. You know, I didn't know. Like, absolutely not. If he goes down, she's going down too. There's no other way. But that's it. There are a lot of red flags. There are a lot of coincidences. As a PI, when we're out gathering intel prior to a surveillance, and then maybe the first week is the intel part of the case, where you're playing it loosey-goosey because you don't want to burn it in the first week. You know, some cases are only a few days, some cases go on for months or years. Like, whenever these coincidences happen in the field and you're like, oh, there's the blue car again that I thought was, huh? What? Oh, you know, like, usually coincidences turn out not to be coincidences. If you're innocent, you don't hide your face in front of cameras. That incident with the car, before the cops, you know, took the car for 41 days or whatever it was, that showed deceit, deception, and shame. What are you ashamed of? Why are you not out looking for your mother? Remember OJ? Let me out of jail so I can go out and find the real killers. I'm still waiting. Now it's too late now because he died. But yeah, when are we starting the investigation of going to find the real killers? I don't have a blue car. Steve. Yes, he was looking for the real killers on the golf course. I guess so, Emerald. I think it was Emerald that sent me that comment. It was you, Emerald, right? That said, are we allowed to talk about who we think? Yeah, sure. That's why we're here, to discuss the case. And I'll say again, everybody on my channel is innocent until proven guilty. And even if they arrest somebody this afternoon, I can't come on an hour later and go, here's my 8-page dossier to the FBI. And hey, I was right or I was wrong. I've got to be very careful because this is going to be a hard case to prosecute with all the evidence being trampled on within the first 20 to 30 hours. Oh, I didn't see that. Did I miss a comment? Emerald says, yes, it was me. A minute ago I asked if if the Z-Man had gone into hiding. He's been making YouTube channel appearances. Just saying. I know what you're saying, Emerald. I got to be careful here. You know, April, that's a great point. And if A&T really wanted Nancy back, they would be looking. If I was A&T, I would be making videos saying I had nothing to do with this. I'd be out there pounding on the doors and handing out the flyers and going in front of the news every single effing day saying, where's my mother? Where are you? Now, there could be a security issue and they have a child to think about. I hadn't checked on him in a while on Instagram or YouTube. There's been a lot of scrubbing going on, Emerald. Maybe he hired Mike. No, that's not a dig at Michael Feldman. But there's been some scrubbing going on. That doesn't mean anybody's involved or guilty. Just saying. I'm not your baby doll. Tone it down, Stephen. Yeah. This gets me very emotional. What are we at now? I gotta look at my own thumbnail. Can somebody look at the thumbnail? Is it day 178? Is that it? Emerald Eyes, I'm stuck on the point that they aren't looking for her or not having others look for her because they already know what happened to her. Could be. You know, remember, we only have a small set of pieces of this very large puzzle. July says exactly. But this is disturbing if Harvey Levin's law enforcement source in the FBI is correct. This is a very disturbing statement. FBI source says no progress has been made in this case. They don't know where Nancy is, and they don't know who the kidnappers, and they did use the word kidnappers plural, are. If that statement is true, then we're in trouble. Thank you, Kathy. Dean says 178. Thank you, Dean. I understand they have a kid to protect, but it makes them look more guilty to me. Yes, absolutely. And who's paying for this hiatus? Where are they? Who's paying the mortgage? Who's working? Where's their income coming from? Were they co-signers on Nancy's bank accounts or checking account? SG. You know what? That has been proposed many times, July, that SG is just paying for everything. And I say, you know what? Don't do it. Because I see this happen all the time with celebrities and siblings that choose not to work, or siblings that choose to have a drug problem or an alcohol problem or just be a knucklehead, and they always expect the more successful sibling to bail them out. In fact, it happens in non-celebrity families too. I'm living proof of that. Some people choose to be successful and work hard, and some people don't. Some people are smart, some people aren't as smart. Some people are creative types, some people are more technical, analytical types, Some people have degrees and some people don't, It's just everybody and every family is different. But Savannah, close your wallet. Oh my God. They are grown people. Close your wallet. Now, if she's paying everything on the mom's house while all this is in limbo, I understand. Suzanne, I read an article that the cops are patrolling Nancy's neighborhood and Annie's neighborhood. I've heard that too, because they're probably looking to go arrest some more YouTubers. I've seen this in celebrity families involving billionaires. I've seen people almost not get married or get a divorce over things like that, over issues like that. Like, oh, I need to help my brother, and oh, poor him, and and he's half in the bag with a brown paper bag and a booze bottle, sitting on a park bench somewhere. That's not your problem. And sometimes when you do have those kinds of things going on in the family, you have to separate yourself for your own mental health, for your own well-being. Because just because somebody chooses to sit on their ass and do nothing, you shouldn't have to pay for that. And if he doesn't have a job anymore, or he bought a house that he couldn't afford, I mean, they're driving like a 15 or 20-year-old Honda. Maybe they can't afford that house. But does that mean they're involved? Not necessarily. Okay, Kelsa says, and that nasty picture of A from Halloween in front of Nancy's house, why would A's friends repost that on February the 9th? I know, you sent that to me. I think I actually had seen that before, but it was so long ago in this case that I had forgotten about it, because at first I was like, oh, I don't think I've seen this. But then when you sent it to me, I was like, that looks familiar. And I'm like, oh my God, this case has gone on so long that, maybe it's just my age and the fact that I'm so medicated on heart drugs that I'm like, oh yeah, I think I did see that before. And it's creepy. It's creepy. Some people just need to cut off or cut the cord. And there could be some jealousy involved that, oh, this person is successful and has all this money. There's people in my family that are jealous of me because I have my own business and I haven't worked for anybody since I was in my 20s. But yet, don't be jealous of me because the last 10 years of my life have imploded over cancer that I didn't deserve, or no, nobody deserves this, Now, if somebody in your family does have horrible cancer and they need help, feel free to write them a check. There's nothing, they're not physically ill. And I don't know that Savannah is writing any checks. Kathy says she worked hard. Money is the root of all evil. S and money. I talked about it earlier. But, I can understand if Savannah's having to pick up the tab on the mom's house while all this is in disarray. But I hope she's not writing those checks for her sister. Because I doubt she's paying Cameron's bills. And he's got a family too. What's going on? Where the F are they? Now maybe there's some serious threat on their lives. There are so many questions in this case. There are so many red flags. And we're days away. We're days away from 6 complete months, meaning that Monday morning will be the first day of the 7th month. I just can't even believe this. When will the first be? Because, I know this happened on a Sunday, but how many weeks ago did it happen on a Sunday? Okay, Saturday is the 1st. Wow. We're 4 days away from the start of the 7th month. I've seen Savannah and Cameron both post videos alone, but never Annie. Don McWhorter says, so sad that Nancy Guthrie hasn't been found and haven't found the person or persons who did this. You know, I don't like this statement that Harvey's got from the FBI, assuming that his sources are correct, that his source says no progress has been made in this case. And then Nanos is just saying the same old bull crap, going, you know, I'm confident that, or I'm very positive the case will be resolved soon. These things take time, but I'm very positive things will be resolved. I hope he's right for a change. Even if you do have to go hook up your friends or a friend of their friends. Or it could be somebody in a different state. It could be somebody in another country that's involved. There's more than one person involved here. This is a group. Remember the John Bonet kidnapping that ended up being an unaliving? What were the first words in the ransom note? We are a group. This happens. Look at Elizabeth Smart. Everybody was like, oh, her father, her uncle. And I'm like, no, it wasn't them. The little sister said that a man came into the room with a pew-pew and took her. And that's exactly what happened. And there was evidence that someone had come into their house through a kitchen window. Just like there was evidence in the Ramsey's house that someone came in through that broken, unrepaired basement window that didn't have the security system attached to it. You know what is crazy? Annie made Nancy take that picture in front of her house. I don't know why Nancy would post that. It's just, I'm creeped out. I'm just totally creeped out. And I'm a PI. I've seen all kinds of weird stuff in my career. I shouldn't be creeped out about anything. But this whole Wiccan witch crap, that creeps me out. Now, if it was some, 6-year-old child dressed up as a witch for Halloween, that's cute. A grown-ass woman? I know it was Halloween. It's my favorite day of the year. I understand. But even at my age, it being my favorite day of the year, I don't dress up. Oh, thank you, Kathy. It is sick, Kelsers. And then while you're supposed to be looking for her, you're out in front of her house putting a greeting card down talking about the burning embers. What is that? As Tommaso's got his arms around both of them, and he's slipping his hand down Savannah's behind. I will never be able to get that out of my mind. Ever. Does no one know anything as long as it's been? It's crazy. I sure hope so, Dawn. Emerald Eye says the age-old emotions of jealousy and greed, perhaps. You would have think by now they would have gotten something up. Yeah, but we're dealing with Bananas as a sheriff. Tommaso's just as sick as Annie. He could be as sweet as a pussycat. Or he could be someone you don't want to run into in a dark alley. I feel bad for their kid. I do too, Kelsers. Exactly. And maybe that's why they're on the run. Or are they just in hiding? Or are they on vacation? We don't know what's going on behind the scenes here. It's so hard to speculate all this. Oh, there was the ticker. Yeah, and I guess this isn't even my 6K party today. Did you notice that the AC guy that I told you guys about in the beginning of the chat has not come back yet? I guess I didn't find anything wrong. Oh my God. Ah. I just Googled the picture of AG. Wow. I know. I'm glad you sent it to me, Kelsers, because then I was like, oh, yeah, I think I have seen this before, but then I can't get it out of my mind now. My mom who thinks she's a witch. Who paid for that $600,000 house or whatever it was? We had talked about all this at the beginning, but it seems the beginning of this case was like 10 years ago. Usually time flies very fast, but it seems like this 6 months and every day me coming on the air, except for the days that I have like surgery or I have a lot of medical coming up in August, medical appointments, like, boy, this seems like a long time. Where are they? School's starting soon, isn't it? Exactly, Kelsers. She goes, I know July, creepy, regardless if A&T had anything to do with it, it's creepy. I couldn't agree more, Kelsers. Maggie, you hit the nail on the head, but it's usually like that with siblings. Don't think the Guthrie children are as close as Savannah Guthrie likes to portray. I don't think they're close at all. Probably NG put the money down for them. And it's sick too if the mom is getting money from Savannah so that it can go out the door to the sister. Because I know what that's like. I tried to help my mom many, many times because my mom, she wasn't mentally all the way there her entire life. She had a lot on her plate from birth, you know. She came from a very, very effed up background. And, you know, you try to help her, but it was never for her. It was always for somebody else. And, you know, the last 20, 30 years of my mother's life, it wasn't a good situation. It was bad. It was very, very bad. Maybe the Wiccan gods told them to do it. They just weird me out and give me the chills. You know, I sure hope that's not the case. Kelsa says, true, April school is starting soon. And supposedly he's not on the roster anymore. How are they making money? Are they in Italy? Are they in a rental house? Nobody's seen them. But, you know, the YouTubers aren't allowed in the neighborhood anymore. And that's where they should be. You know, the memorial should be able to stand. And I wonder if Nancy's not in another country or state or buried in the dirt in Mexico and she's 2 blocks from her house, you know, in somebody's backyard. Maybe they're underground, who knows? Yeah, why? Sorry, Don, but they have to put their kids somewhere. SG is in Italy right now? No, actually, she's in England. She's in Manchester, England. And that is public knowledge, so I can say that. If it wasn't public knowledge, of course, I wouldn't even know it, but because I don't know Savannah, but she's in Manchester. She's filming Wordle. Although she did come to NBC Universal, which is a mile down the street from me, a few weeks ago when we were talking about this, like, oh wow, Savannah Guthrie was here yesterday. She was right down the street from me. That just felt weird after we've been talking about her all this time. Maybe they'll homeschool this year. Don't know. We have so many unanswered questions and there's so many red flags. And I do think there's multiple people involved, and it's either the Savannah factor or it's somebody close to her, or it's a combination of the two. And there's going to be no other way about it. No burglary, no robbery, no home invasion gone wrong. No, oh, they were after the jewel guy and they went to the wrong house. Absolutely no way. It's one or the other. And when you've got a police chief who doesn't even know how to secure a crime scene, or maybe he does, and it was intentionally compromised, that makes the case less and less likely of ever being solved. The longer it goes, the less of a chance. The longer it goes, even if you find the chefs and the waiters, you may never find Nancy. There's a lot, the chances go down every day. Dawn says, I'm going with someone close to her. I just have a bad feeling. I have very bad feelings, Dawn. I can't imagine filming a game show is much fun for Savannah Guthrie right now. I know. July says SG is not sad, it's a put on. I don't think so at all. But we can agree to disagree. Yeah, Emerald Eyes and Kelsa is saying the same thing, Dawn. Absolutely, Dawn. It could be somebody close to her. But there is an angle that I'm looking at. The front porch guy is not them. It's definitely not them. And I know one of the people that's involved is connected to somebody who had a connection to her. Now, are they working under the direction of somebody else, or are they just doing this on their own? If they're doing this on their own, then that would take the family away from this situation. Kelsa's, Savannah's a real pro. People grieve in different ways. She might be crying behind closed doors. Absolutely. What is Savannah? Oh, what if Savannah is covering for her sister? I would hope not. If my sister took out my mother, and I knew that she did, I would tell the cops. Like I said, the fallout from this could be just as bad as the initial crime itself. If it's not just some random kidnapping by somebody that they don't know, which I highly doubt. Like I said, you still have to convince me, even now, almost 7 months later, you have to convince me that this was a legit kidnapping for ransom. I'm not convinced of that yet. I think between all of us, we could have solved this case by now. I think I could if I had access to the information that the police have and the family have. Like if they hired me as a PI, which of course I'm not licensed to do so in Arizona, but if they wanted to consult with me and they were like, if Savannah, who was down the street from me, decided to go knock, 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 here's everything we know, what do you think? Then I would, get licensed and insured PIs in Arizona and go, okay, now I need you to do this, 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 and this. And I would just, run the show. Where's the daily goal? Oh, let me see. Where is it? Oh, it probably expired. I'll just set it for 15 minutes. We'll just say horns, just so I can just type it in. Sorry about that. Oh, I forgot to reset the minimal amount, so ignore the amount. Yeah, I haven't had any super chats today. Oh. In my opinion, this case was botched on purpose. It certainly could have been. Which makes it even more sus, doesn't it, if that's the case? Okay, Maggie, I missed that comment. I think Savannah Guthrie's grief is real, but I think she knows more about her mother's situation than she's able to admit to the public or even herself. I-9 bingo. Ding, 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 ding. Very possible, Maggie. Very possible. Sarov! Oh my God. I had my screen down. Let me go back to my screen on the computer because I had to look something up and then I lost my screen. Oh my God. Just give me a second to go back to my screen. Now it's going to show me a commercial. Well, I don't need that. Sarov. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sarov, do you have a recommendation that we could get rid of this high porn and go for something else? Sarov! Not necessary, my friend, but thank you so much. This case has been handled so wrong and probably would have been solved. It's like everything is so secretive. Yes. Yes. Thank you, my friend. Coming in with the Israeli shekels. Thank you so much. Sarov! Super chat number 6. Oh, like when the guy just came in and said set the goal, I don't think I had it on the minimum amount, and that's why it's not showing up on the screen. Sorry about that, Sarah. Thank you so much. Now it's saying sign the petition. I just want to see my chat. Sarah! What have you said here? Have an amazing... I gotta go hard on all these. Everybody make sure you give the thumbs up button. Hit the like on Sarov's super chats. Have an amazing week. You too, my friend. Nice to see you. Are you doing okay, Sarov? You know, you're welcome to come in without giving super chats, Sarov. Just saying. But they're very appreciated. Let me heart the last one. Thank you so much. And let me try to skip through my own commercials here and get my screen back caught up. Now we're caught up. Okay. I hope you're doing well, my friend. My daughter has the Bazinga button from Big Bang Theory. You know what? I don't watch that show. And I should have, because one of the main actresses that's on there I worked with on Blossom. So I don't know what the Bazinga button is. Oh, you mean like this? Like this kind of button? I don't know what that is because I don't watch the show, even though Mayim's on it. Or was. I mean, I know they don't, that show was from like a long time ago, but I'll have to see what that is. The Bazinga. April and chat, it's been a pleasure. I'm going to get some dessert and a drink with some friends for my birthday. Oh yeah! Happy birthday! Before you leave, Kelsers, everybody, let's say it again. Happy birthday, Kelsers. I'm sorry, we talked about it yesterday, but with the sofa and then the AC guy here, I totally forgot to say that. So everybody, give Kelsers a happy birthday in the chat. I hope you have like a big cake. Now I want cake, damn it. Oh my gosh. Have a good time. We love you too, Kelsers. That's okay. I told them I had to catch your show before we left. Just go celebrate your birthday. One day you'll be my age and you won't be celebrating birthdays anymore. You'll just be like, yeah, it's another day. Onset PI. Small world, I'm a PI in Scottsdale and used to be a professional reseller. Yeah, this is my Rally Roots hat. I used to be friends with Ryan and Allie. You know what? Am I pronouncing it right? OS or OSIT PI? Brian had Callie send this to me along with a beanie and this hat when I was starting my chemo. And I usually wore the beanie because it was very, very cold, but sometimes I would wear the hat. But I have never met Ryan or Allie or Callie, but Ryan had Callie package this up for me, and it's all dirty and worn out, and I still wear this old dirty hat on my lives because I've never forgotten the kindness of strangers. So if you know Ryan, please, tell him that, hey, April Davis PI has made it to 6,000 subs now. I know, he's like huge, right? But that I've never, ever forgotten them for that, if you know them. And if you're a PI in Scottsdale and you're for real, as I am a PI, and you're in Arizona, which is, Scottsdale is a lot closer to Tucson than Los Angeles, what do you think about this case? Let everybody know in the chat. You have a great time on your birthday now, but not too good. Hey, Margaret Lund. One of my pips is coming in, SR71 girl. There's another pip right there. Yeah, they are great people. I met up with them in Texas a few times. ONSIT stands for Open Source Intelligence. Okay. Well, if you're still in touch with them, let them know that, hey, you just, I don't know if you're subscribed. I hope you are. That you have you're watching this girl that is a cancer survivor, disabled cancer survivor, and then I'm still wearing my Rally Roots gear. And when you see me in the winter, you'll see me with the Rally Roots beanie. Sassy Granny, welcome back. Are you back from Ireland, my friend? She says, hi, April, and the Pips. If you're new here, the Pips, those are the channel members, the PI posse. I had to run an errand, I'm back. I love Big Bang Theory. I missed that show. I should have watched it because, after working with Mayim, and I just should have watched it, but there's not enough time in my day. Especially after I worked all the television gigs, I started my own business and I was just so busy for the last 30 years. Jackie West, happy birthday to Kelsers. You are back. I hope it was great. I would love to go to Ireland because I'm part Irish. I hope you got some good souvenirs. You are for real? Yes, I work for a firm in the Valley. No, I don't. I was briefly licensed in Arizona, but I never used it because I'm so busy in LA. Now, do you have your own firm? Are you a licensed investigator or do you work for a licensed investigative firm? Thanks for coming, Roxanne. You work for, okay. See you, July. You came back with a sinus infection. Probably from being on that flight. Gene Newbeck, another pip. Welcome in. You are licensed as an employee. So do you have an Arizona PI license? Or are you just an employee under their license? Because that's how I did it for years. I trained under 3 companies, but I couldn't call myself a PI until I actually had my license. And then I got my license. You left your phone in Ireland. Uh-oh. That's so cool, though. That is so cool. So if you're a friend of Ryan's and you happen to speak to him, you tell him about this. Because people go, oh, I love your hat. Where'd you get that hat? And it's my Rally Roots hat. Nobody knows. Nobody in here has ever known what it means. Yeah, you have your license. Congratulations. I've had my California license since '92, and one of my subcontractors who was also licensed was like, hey, you might want to get licensed in some other states. And so I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And I got licensed in Arizona for a couple of years, but I never even went there. Now, I did go there later on just for a seminar. There was a big company there that had a seminar where they were inviting PIs from all over the country, and they called me in Los Angeles and said, hey, we'd really like you to come. And I went, but it was stupid because it cost me $600 to go, the drive, the gas, the hotel, the food. And then, there was nobody running my business for a couple days while I was there. And then they ended up being not a good company that I would want to work for. And it wasn't a PI firm. It was like a big international company that was like, we're bringing people in from all over the country and we'd like to meet you. So it was a waste of my time. But no, I don't have the Arizona license anymore. I just have the California license. But I've been reporting on this story, on the Nancy Guthrie case, but I'd love to hear your opinion. Since you are a PI, you are a licensed PI, you're the real deal in Arizona. What do you think about Nancy Guthrie? Assuming that you're not working on it, because if you're working on it, I know you can't say a word. But what do you think about the Nancy Guthrie situation? Just throw up your 2 cents in the chat. And remember, everybody here is innocent until proven guilty, and you're just expressing an opinion, if you're comfortable with that. But it's so cool to see it. I've never had a PI come into any of my chats before, ever. So that's really cool. That's awesome. And they're in, what, Scottsdale, did you say? But no, I never did go to the Arizona PI Association meetings. That's so cool. How the heck do you guys handle surveillance out there in the heat in the summer? You could be dead out there in your surveillance vehicle in like 10 minutes. That's really nice too. And you're a part-time reseller. I've been a part-time reseller for years, although I haven't had time to do it lately because I'm so busy with YouTube. I still have my Whatnot and my eBay. But Ryan and Callie and Allie, I mean, they're the top dogs in my opinion. Jackie West says, hi April, thank you for helping us or keeping us informed about how our beloved Jackie is doing. Yeah, I put out a new video last night. I don't expect to hardly get any revenue from that video because I was in such a hurry to put it up that it was only like a little under 5 minutes long. And when you do that on YouTube and you don't have at least 8 minutes on a video, even though it's got like 20,000 views, I think. Let me check. There's no mid-roll ads, but you know, I've never done this for the money, so I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, it's up to 21,000 views now. So it's going to make a little, but make sure to watch to the end and watch the ads because they can't put what's called mid-roll ads in videos that are under 8 minutes. But, you know, I was actually doing my live yesterday, Jackie, when someone in my chat said, hey, have you heard the latest? It just came out by the Ojai Raptor Center. And I started reading it online and I don't know, it was almost in tears and I had to go off the air. So I apologize if you guys were here yesterday and I went off the air like super, super fast. And then I was like, oh, I need to prepare my 6K party because how can you imagine that I had 4K, then 5K, and 6K in less than a week? And it's taken me, you know, 5 years and 7 months to get to this point. Like, and after I made that video and I put it up right away, I'm like, oh, it's too short and it's too late to redo it now. And plus, I didn't have enough information anyway to drag it out to 8 minutes, and people would have been mad. And I see you're a pip as well, Jackie. Thank you. Jean Newbeck sent the finger heart. Thank you. You are in Scottsdale. We outsource our surveillance work, thankfully. I mainly do our social media heavy cases. I don't really resell anymore either. I did full-time for many years. Yeah, I was always part-time. I've always like enjoyed treasure hunting and garage sailing, but you know, since the cancer, well, I was still reselling after the cancer, but then when the heart problem started and now I have a cane, I don't get to the Goodwills hardly ever, and I don't get to the estate sales, which around here are huge because you know, there's celebrity estate sales. Like I was at the one at Tori Spelling's, and I just saw the pilot of that within the last number of years, and I was actually in it, as was my buddy Perez Hilton. I didn't know that. Like, I am in the pilot. Like, oh my God, I didn't know that. So I just don't get to the estate sales, but we have a lot of like celebrity estate sales around here, and It's really cool. I miss it, you know. I still have my eBay and my Whatnot. By the way, if you guys aren't on Whatnot, they do have a $25 referral reward. So you guys could go sign up for my Whatnot. And Whatnot, if you've not already signed up, make sure you sign up for Whatnot using my code. You get $25 deposited into your Whatnot wallet. And then you could go on there and you could buy a channel sticker or 2 or 3. Respect importance. Yeehaw, Pip's in the house with the Halloween custom emojis. 0 estate sales in Port. Uh-oh. It's a spirit calling me from Port Lock, Alaska. Spirit 859 to be exact. Oh my gosh. Well, we have quite a few Pips in here today. It looks like Sassy Granny, she's got a different color star. So you've been a Pip for several months, Sassy Granny. God, look at all the Pips that have come in today. Now Kelsa, she had to leave because it's her birthday tonight or today. And we got Margaret Lund, and we got SR71 Girl, we got Sassy Granny coming in all the way from, well, I was going to say Ireland, but you're back now. Margaret Lund, let's see, Jackie West. Oh, we had Mr. Sarop. No, how can I forget him? He was the one that laid every single super chat for today. Jean Newbeck. Let's see. Yeah, there's a lot of Pips right now. Respect importance. Port Lock. Yeah, ain't nobody there. Okay. 0 cent PI. This case is like nothing else. I think a lot about how hard it will be to prosecute. Exactly. Oh, we think alike, my friend. With this mess with Pima County. Defense attorneys will foam at the mouth for this case. I said that. I didn't use the words foam at the mouth, but I'm like, some of the biggest defense attorneys in the country are going to get involved in this when people start getting arrested, if they get arrested, because that crime scene was compromised within the very first 20 to 30 hours. And the family, who I'm not naming as a suspect, but the FBI allegedly had them on the top of the list, they were the first ones allowed to like be interfering with the crime scene. Like, how does that happen? I don't want to like have a stroke while I'm talking about this. And I do have to go soon because I need to eat. I was waiting for the sofa guy all day, then the AC guy. Respect importance. Sent the floating heart. Thank you so much. This is my 2nd month, but it never changed the color for me. It should. Do a search on Google and see like how many months until your color changes. Because it'll show you like all the colors and how many months you have to be to get the color changes. But appreciated no matter what color or level you are. And the levels are no longer level 1, level 2, level 3. You know, the AC guy was supposed to be up on the roof and it's still not running. Hold on. The thermostat must have heard me coming. It was in eco mode. I didn't even touch it. I just like looked like that and it went, phew. So right in the middle of my show, the city of LA says, you're in eco mode now. No AC for you. And I got my little bunny in here. 0 cent PI. I think there are definitely family ties. I think too much attention is given to porch guy. I will be shocked if he's more than just a distraction or had a very small role outside the home. That's interesting. Yeah, I've got it as a group. I'm thinking 3 to 5 people, but could be wrong. And for anybody who wants to ask, no, I have not yet heard back from the FBI, and I don't expect to. How long have you been a PI, if you don't mind me asking? Because I started in 84. I'm old, by the way. I started in 84 in Beverly Hills. I got my license by 1992. I then continued to work for other people for the next 3 years still, because I was doing a lot of like celebrity gigs that I really enjoyed. So it was 11 years before I even went out on my own. And then I was full-time, you know, from the time I started for 35 plus years. But then, you know, my life had to take a different path so I could go, you know, treat for stage 3 breast cancer. And then just when I thought I had that in my rearview mirror, maybe, then I started having my heart issues from the treatment. So, you know, I still have my license, I still have my business, but, you know, I'm 99% retired at this point. Emerald Eyes says, yes, I believe Porch Guy is just one of the hired thugs. I think there's 3 to 5 people involved. I thought he was one of the thugs just because he seemed to be so amateurish. And people were like, well, if he was an amateur, how come they got away with it? But I think he was totally an amateur. But I could be wrong. Remember, I'm not investigating the case. I don't have any access to it. I don't know if OSENT PI has any access to information. But do you think this will be solved, OSENT PI? Let me just ask you that, since you are a PI in Arizona. Do you think that this case will be solved? Let me know in the chat. Because sometimes I think we're close, and then I hear the most recent information, and I'm like, oh my God, we're absolutely nowhere, and we're back at square one. And then we start going down these deep, dark rabbit holes. Dean says so many distractions. Yeah. Okay, it looks like my chat is caught up on my screen behind me. Wow, I'm scrolling up. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, wow. That's crazy. So, Rolf, if you're still here, that's just, you're too generous, my friend. And thank you for everybody that sent the jewels today. I appreciate that. Thank God I've had my Jackie videos. That's going to help me. That's going to help me pay some of these unexpected expenses. But if you're still in touch with Ryan or Allie or Callie, just tell them, you know, I'm sure you don't remember her, but April Davis in Los Angeles, she's a PI and she's a part-time reseller. She's on the air almost every day wearing your hat, you know, because I don't know them. I've never met them, but the kindness of strangers gets me more emotional and gets the tears flowing than, you know, people that I've known my whole life that have helped me out through this. Not that those people aren't important too, but why not mention the up to $1 million reward in her video then? If it was supposed to be a video to generate attention again on the case, then she should have stated the reward. Makes no sense. Oh, you mean Savannah's video that we talked about yesterday? Yeah, she just said something like, we've done our part. And now everybody's speculating on what that means. And where the heck are Annie and Tommaso? Where are they? And I understand the security issues involved in this, especially with their child. I understand that. But it seems like Tucson is like Mayberry, and I know that it's not. Because we've had a friend in the chat that, I haven't seen her lately, but she actually lives in the Catalina foothills, and she said, you know, Tucson's not LA, but it's not exactly a small town. But if you've seen my my long form video that was from several months ago, go to the video tab and see the suspect video. It seems like all the yahoos that have come in this case have been, I used to call it the soap opera or the play. Now I call it the three-ring circus. Everybody seems to be connected in Tucson. People in Tucson are even connected to people in Los Angeles. You know, like, that's a good point, OwnSent PI. Why not mention the up to 1 million reward in her video? Yeah, all she said is we've done our part. This is a bad situation. I mean, I'm glad I met all you guys, and I've continued to come on the air almost every single day. August will be a little less just for medical appointments that I'm going to have to go. I got a lot of meds in August and September to handle, but we'll work around it somehow. Okay, the chat just went dead quiet. Is everybody still there? There it is. Kathy Doherty says she's back. Yeah, I gotta go get something to eat soon. I was too busy waiting for the sofa guys, and then they texted me oh, now the AC guy's coming, and I'm like, oh my God, it just got free for the day. And the guy came to my door and he goes, but I'll be right back, or I'll come back to keep you updated, but I don't know. You know, we're supposed to have a horrible heat wave here, because it'll come eventually in Los Angeles, where it's going to be it'll be like Arizona at some point, You guys will be going backwards, towards the fall, and we'll be on fire and 100 degrees or whatever every day. And when that happens, this thing's going to blow. Lisa from Las Vegas, welcome in. How hot is it in Vegas? I got family in Vegas, but not much left there anymore. Most of them are deceased or have moved on. It's 109. I hope you have good AC. That's all I can say, Lisa. I remember going to Vegas years ago, in the 90s, and it was almost empty compared to how it is now. But I haven't been there in over 20 years. Ugh. But you do have more of a change of season when it comes to the winter time. That's nice. It gets kind of cold there. It gets colder there than it does in Los Angeles for sure. I don't know. I think the only place here that would be more perfect than LA weather would be San Diego. And I haven't seen my San Diego friends in the chat today. But Vegas is a lot cheaper to live than it is here in LA. And I could probably get an apartment there that would actually have a washer and a dryer, which would be lovely. I'd be tempted to go anywhere where I could get a decent apartment with a washer and a dryer. Pauline is on the Central Coast. Oh, thank you. I love your Jackie videos. Thank you. Yesterday's was rather short, so probably won't, do that well financially, but that's not why I'm doing it. I was doing a live yesterday, Lisa, when somebody came in and said, have you heard the latest? And then I went over to my iPad and I looked it up and I started reading it, but then I just couldn't on the air. And I went off the air very soon. And some people commented in the comments oh, I could see you're upset. Because they had said earlier in the day that we're going to have we're having a positive update coming soon. And then when I saw her in the oxygen chamber, and they said her blood levels had dropped again, and they're still dangerously low. She's still in the severely anemic category. And even after the transfusion, that her levels had dropped down again, and they're not a little bit low, they're severely life-threatening low still. And they don't know what's causing it. They're treating her, but they don't know what they're treating her for, because they don't know what's caused this. I have not heard any news today. And you know, this past week, you know, the public helped save Moon Camp, you know, from being developed. And we, you know, the private donor came in with 5.5 million, and I tried to make the donation and it wouldn't take my PayPal. And then and for some reason it wasn't going through. I guess it was the middle of the night. And when I tried the next day, they were like, oh, it's closed. So I donated instead by buying some gifts from the store. I know I absolutely hate the fact that California government thinks it's okay to turn off the electricity or AC at any time. We were raised in California. I left after the Rodney King riots. My sister finally left a few years ago. Oh, wow. Where'd you go, SR71? You've probably said before, but... So no, Lisa, I don't know any news today. But I was dealing with the sofa delivery, and then the AC guy came unexpectedly, and I still got to make sure that my cat and my rabbit are going to be chill with the new sofa that I still have to pay for. And I really needed a bed sooner, but the sofa had a safety issue with a broken spring, so I just had to get that old thing taken out of here. You're in Texas. Yeah, there's a lot of people from California and Texas. Texas is a big place. Southeast Texas near the Gulf of America. The Gulf of America. It's still the Gulf of Mexico, in my mind. Are you the one that's south of Houston? Are you the one in Baytown? You gotta laugh. Just craziness. That's as crazy as the Trump Kennedy Center. That's been taken down. You're not near Baytown. Okay, that must have been somebody else in here that was in Baytown. Yeah, Texas is big. When you think about that, Texas is, you know, backs up into southeast Arizona. But yet you're in the southeast part on the Gulf. Like that's like a couple days drive away probably. Yeah, I remember when I had to drive to Phoenix several years ago for that business meeting. It was like a conference, and by the time I was getting closer to Phoenix, I started seeing road signs for Texas. Now Phoenix is you know, it's not like Tucson. That's much closer to, like, you know, New Mexico and then Texas. You know, you're getting a lot closer. I mean, it's not like Texas comes into Arizona. You got New Mexico in between, but you know, I would expect to see signs like that, like maybe in Tucson, but not like coming into Phoenix. I started seeing like the mileage signs for Texas, and I was like, oh wow, how far am I from Texas? Like, I'm just driving from LA to Phoenix. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. 40 miles south of Houston and 40 miles west of Galveston. I forgot to turn off my notifications, and I just saw from one of my channel viewers, she must be looking at my community tab, and she's like, congratulations, because I hit 6K last night. And last week I hit 4K, 5K, and then less than a week later I hit 6K. Yeah, we're not even going to talk about that. I know I mentioned it, but yeah. It's the Gulf of Mexico. Absolutely. I grew up on the Gulf of Mexico. I'm not from there, but I grew up there. But I think Texas would have been a lot nicer than where I was. Where I was, it was buggy and muggy and alligators and yuck. Just like disgusting. Because remember, I moved to California when I was only a year old. No problem, Pauline. Okay, got 36 people in the room, 54 thumbs up. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you guys haven't gone and seen my Jackie the Eagle videos, go over to, she has her own playlist now. I do have a playlist for her because I have about 3 or 4 videos, plus I have a couple of lives on her, and I have a short on her, and that's actually my favorite, although that will make no money. I've actually, some people have sent me some super thanks on those videos, and I never get super thanks. I get super chats, but I like never hardly ever get, like, I might have several hundred super chats to every one super thanks. And there's been like 3 super thanks, I think, have come through on those videos. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, so happy for your 6,000. I know, like, I had only planned to go to 4,000 by the end of August, and I wanted 5,000 by Halloween. And then I was like, after that, I'm not even going to think about it, and we'll see what happens. And now I'm getting comments like, hey, you're on your way to 10K. Like, I don't think it'll ever get there. Remember, it took 5 years and 7 months, people. I'm not getting rich off of this. In fact, the money that I've made in the last few months won't even cover the expenses thus far. Anything new today? Not that I have heard. It's just, you know, and there's some people just seem very uninformed or stupid. The people that are like, oh, well, just set her free and send her back to Shadow. And she would die in 10 minutes if you set her free right now. She's in critical condition. She's in the critical care unit with dangerously low iron levels, anemia. She needs to be in an oxygen chamber. She needs to be hand-fed. Like, for those that are saying, oh, we'll just set her free and, you know, that's not going to happen unless she's fully recovered. And that could be months from now, or that could be never, sadly. I know, Cheryl, it just is so, like, people are, I don't know, I shouldn't complain, because as a PI, as a private investigator, I've made a lot of money in my career from stupid people and criminals. I just can't believe there are so many dumb people that would make comments like that. Oh, set her free. And now the people that are criticizing the people that dropped the 5.5 million going, oh, well, we saved the land for nothing now because, you know, there's not going to be a nest anymore because there's no Jackie. And there's a whole eagle community there. It's terrific what they have done for all the wildlife in that area. Not just for Jackie and Shadow. You know, hopefully hopefully Jackie's going to recover and she's going to be sent back. But if she's not and the worst happens, you know, hopefully there will be another eagle couple that'll come and take over that nest someday. I know it just breaks my heart, but the video last night seemed a little better. Her levels went up. Not a great bit something yet. Well, they went down again and then they went up, but she's still in the severely anemic, life-threatening category. But you know what? I never had that issue. My friend did when she almost died last weekend, when she was in the hospital. Not this past weekend, but the weekend before. My friend was in the hospital and, you know, her levels tanked. She was almost dead by the time she got there, but they figured out what it was. She had a hemorrhage and they had to fix it. But it's the same theory. But when I was in with my heart, you know, I was never in an oxygen chamber, but, you know, if I hadn't been in the hospital with oxygen, I wouldn't have survived my side effects. She will be back. Keep the faith. Oh, I hope you're right, Marcy. Let's be positive. You know what? I can see, Marcy, I can see your avatar just a little bit, and it looks like a kitty cat. And is there a dog behind that cat? That is gorgeous. I don't understand why that can't find it. Oh, you mean like her diagnosis? Like they don't know, like, they don't you mean they can't find out what's causing it? Yeah. I don't know who Caleb is. They've ruled a lot of things out. Now, if she was suffering from pesticide toxicity, that's not necessarily going to show up. So they're going to treat her for that anyhow because it can't hurt. But they need to know what's causing the kidneys to be inflamed. Well, yeah, she's anemic, but why is she anemic? JLE, you know why I am. What the main issue is, yeah, we need to know. Because then she'd have more of a chance, because at least they would know what they're dealing with. Yeah, the CT scan didn't show any noticeable tumors, fishing lines, fish hooks, or lures, lead weights, things like that. Didn't show any of that. And they had to transport her to a vet office in the city of Ventura in order to get that CT scan. So hopefully all the donations that have gone in, and I've sent a small one myself. We talked about it before, what I sent to Friends of Big Bear Valley and what I sent to the Ojai Raptor Center. And I would like to buy more stuff from both of those organizations as far as like their little gifts. But I've got this sofa to pay for now. And then I can start saving for the next item. But I did do a small donation. I heard they already got like $500,000, but still. Did they give Jackie a blood transfusion? Yes. One time so far. And that came from an eagle named Spirit, who's in a zoo in Bakersfield, not to be confused with her daughter Spirit. Positive vibes only for Jackie. Remember, she would have died if not for volunteers. Yes, and fire department that found her. Ojai is her only chance. Exactly. And that's why they need to keep her there for as long as they need to keep her there. Like when I was laying in the hospital 17 times, I would sometimes just break down and cry because I wanted to be home with my pets. But had I left prematurely, I would have died. So she needs to stay there as long as she needs to stay. And hey, if one of these videos could go viral, which has never happened to me, I could make a bigger donation. But I just don't ever think that's going to be a problem I'm going to have to deal with because I'm still a very small YouTuber. But I am very, very happy that I've gone from 36K to, well, where am I at now? Since I came on the air. It says 6133. How's my Thai family? I actually talked to her today, Sarah, and she was doing really good. And she had her son-in-law bring over the grandkids because she's like, I miss my grandsons, because she's still recovering at home. I have been to Ojai. I have been there for work multiple times. Not lately. It's lovely. I was trying to remember, how far is that from Ventura? Because they had to bring her down from Ojai to Ventura to do the CAT scan. Yeah, she sounded so much better today. Because I was a little worried because she usually will call me back. But I called her the other day and, she didn't call back, but she sleeps a lot. And I was like, oh God, is she okay? And She wanted me to send her a picture by text of the sofa, and then she's like, I love it, ah! And I was like, okay, good, because I know it's more your color than mine, even though I live here and you don't. You know, like, I love Ventura too, because I love the weather. That's a city I could live in. Of course, I'd have to bring my electrophysiologist, cardiologist, my Providence Hospital with me, my cardiologist, regular cardiologist, my oncologist, but yeah. Get me an apartment up there with a washer and a dryer. I could die there, let me tell you. Remember Steve Irwin? He used to say things like that. He'd be happy about something, and he'd go, I could die now. You know? And then he did. So I guess I shouldn't say things like that. But, oh, the weather. Oh, the weather. And it's only 20 minutes from Santa Barbara. Like, not that I'd be getting up there anymore, but I'm definitely a beach bunny and not a desert rat. Even Oxnard, you know, it's usually like, it'll be 65 there when it's 100 in LA, you know, like, oh, good Lord. There's always that beach influence up there. And then the whole city, like, is up a hill. So, you know, they get that breeze right off the Pacific. I know somebody that used to live in Moorpark, and not Moorpark, the street that my business box is located, but the city of Moorpark. And even though that's just past Simi, like, and Simi is hot as flames, but in Moorpark, in the summer, he's like, oh, I don't even have to turn on my air. I just open up my windows because we get that ocean influence that comes down from Ventura and Oxnard every night. And it's just like, oh, that's so nice. Gorgeous places in California, beautiful beaches. Absolutely. I love it up there. I love it up there. I've worked on quite a few of the military bases up there too, just like for cases and stuff. I've worked at the Naval Air Station, and then I've worked up at Vandenberg, which is way up past Santa Barbara. That's always nice. Santa Barbara, Goleta, Ventura. It's like, for some reason, when I'm on the highway up there, it reminds me of my childhood in Northern California. And I don't know why I could even remember that, because I was a baby and a toddler, but it has that type of feel. And then when you're heading north up there, you see the signs. Right when you're coming into the city of Ventura, you see the signs on the 101 that say San Francisco, you know, with the arrows like this way, like San Francisco this way, or, you know, like, oh, it's so nice. It's so nice. It's like night and day between there and LA. And I love LA. I'm a diehard Angelino, but at my age, considering I don't go anywhere except for the doctor, like in the mailbox and the pharmacy, like, I could definitely do Ventura and I'd be just fine. It is a beautiful state. And I'm glad I got to see, you know, most of it when I was younger, because when you get old, you're just kind of like stuck. But at least tonight, I'll be stuck in a place that has a new sofa. Yeah, I gotta turn around and look at it now. Oh my God, you guys aren't gonna believe it. My little girl just came out, my bunny. She's going to inspect the sofa. Okay. I'm gonna go. Thank you for coming. We're 2 hours into this plus. Thank you for the super chats, Saraf. Thank you for the jewels to everybody else. Thank you all the channel members. Guys, go see those Jackie videos. If you want $25 free to spend on Whatnot, go to my main channel page. Go to my links underneath my bio. Sign up for Whatnot. I'll put $25 in your wallet. You don't have to spend it on my store, but if you want to, you can buy some channel swag. I would have to agree with that, Spirit. Ugh. Okay, I gotta go. Thank you.